Korea wins big in the video gaming industry. As we're having conversations about some of the character designs for the new Silent Hill 2 remake, Korea just comes out with its update for the first Descendant, and it's blowing people's minds in the USA and of course all over the Western games development sphere, because it's doing things that are just not the industry standard nowadays. And this is coming from someone that played the first Descendant for about 2 months and dropped it, and now I'm seeing this new update for October. It has me interested in seeing some of the other updated features that people have been praising for this game, and this is just showing the resilience and the overall power of the Korean gaming industry as it can reinvent itself in such a way where it can progress itself in such a way where it's still maintaining a stable fan base of players that are excited for the next updates for their games. And this is just a basic third-person shooter, but it's maintaining a large fan base of players, like around 20,000 players focused and interested in this game, which is a well-rounded amount for at least Steam players in general, and this is not including the players on PS5 or any other console system. So this game has a steady amount of success that may average out to something that will be sustainable for a company in the future to actually build upon. And I think that's what we're seeing with Korean winning again with a new title that has just come out of their country. This is after Stellar Blade, this is after Life of Pi, that made gains within the industry and established Korea as a base for video game development. I think we're seeing that even further as the first Descendant kind of builds a stranglehold within the industry itself with these continuous updates that are reinventing, redesigning the characters, and making something all the more interesting for players to actually dive in and play the game. And I think when I saw these screenshots of some of the updated character profiles and ultimate designs, you just look back at this game and think, okay, I gotta get into it. What am I missing out, and how do I get back to that level where I'm highly engaged with this game? And I think that is the thing that is missing in the video gaming industry nowadays, where there's nothing to re-engage you into a game. And I think what we've been seeing in Korea with Japan, and especially China with Black Myth Wukong, we've been seeing games that can re-engage the fan base into their properties with proper DLC content. And I think that's what we're seeing with the first Descendant here, and just the overall looks and appeal of this game. And you contrast it with what we see from games like Silent Hill 2 that have these kind of big-headed, ugly designs of characters that are pushing away the fan base when they're looking at these designs, even though the game itself seems functional. But we're looking at it and thinking, okay, this is a standard Western design that we always see within video games for the past 5 to 6, 7 years, where we're just getting this basic uglified design, big head design that's out of proportion, that is just showing the lacking of skill and talent within the Western games designs field, where we're just getting things that just don't look actually realistic to the character models, even though we have a perfectly matched character model with James in Silent Hill 2 that looks like a regular human being. It's not done with a lot of the female characters that we're seeing in the Western games development field, where it perfectly matches what we saw with Spider-Man 2 and Mary Jane, and it matches everything that we see with Harley Quinn in the Kill the Justice League game with Fable, the main character there. Of course, Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn. The matches on how these designs are pitch perfect, close facsimiles of themselves, it makes it clear that this is a design approach that is kind of a negative approach that's pushing away the fan base. And to see Korea stick to its original designs, not following the Western gaming standard of big head, square jaws, small body type of character designs, and it's still continuously winning, it's showing that Korea actually knows the winning formula of how to actually maintain a fan base. And people may be suspicious that, okay, this game is doing okay, it's not doing that great, because it's just basically maintaining a low standard compared to its competitors. People bringing up Warframe and comparing it to the first Descendant because they're both third-person shooters and have the same kind of makeup and design of how they create the game and how the game is playing out. And you can see the comparisons. It is drastically smaller, but I think the thing with the Warframe is specifically PC, and the first Descendant is not. The first Descendant is PC, PS5, and Xbox. It's on multiple platforms and systems, so it can disperse its audience between the systems. And if we just look at the Steam numbers, they can be deceiving. So I don't think it's doing that much worse than Warframe. I wouldn't say it's doing equal as Warframe, but I think it's probably hovering around at least 60,000 players at its 24-hour peak. That is just a substantial amount of players for a new game that came out a few months ago, while Warframe is an old battle-tested game that's been here for numerous years. So this is a game that is just starting to build its fan base, and seeing it improve with these new redesigns is just showing the power of having classic, actual, beautiful, and well-made designs. And this is the thing that's missing in the video gaming industry for the past few years, at least the westernized gaming industry, that is leading it to massive failure. And I think to improve upon that, you have to have game developers that actually are interested in producing content for the gamers. And when you look at the game designers for the first Descendant, you clearly see that is the case. Just seeing the person that designed the Ultimate Bunny costume, and of course the new Ultimate Frena costume, you see this person is highly focused on developing designs that actually attract the overall attention of the gamers themselves, and he knows his audience. And that, I think that's the thing people are asking of game developers, to know your audience and what they actually like. You don't have to go to this extreme, of course, with this type of concept and design, but if you just look at the team leader of the character concept design team, he says in an interview that he wants to design the Ultimate Bunny and these specific characters to be their most actualized peak form of these female characters. And I think you see that exhibited in a well-made manner way, and I think that's the opposite conceptualized stance that we see in America, where we're not trying to see a realized peak of these particular characters. We're trying to bring him back down to a modernized, realistic, below standard version of what they're supposed to look like, and that is just simply not appealing to the gamer base, and just not appealing to the customer base, where we're just playing games to escape fantasy. We're not there to see a game brought back to reality and put in a lower standard than us, because that is just not the way games have been formatted for the past 20 to 30 years. It's there to break that modern reality in lieu of a fantastic fantasy, and that is what we're seeing with this overall design in the first Descendant, is breaking that modern reality and bringing us that fantastic fantasy that is impossible to see in reality. And this is what the first Descendant represents, and you can see the game designers, that's what they want to produce for the gamers, and it's winning them a solid customer base that is going to pay hundreds of dollars for these custom designs. And I think that's the thing that kind of pushed me away from the first Descendant. You have to pay so much money for these designs. Of course, you can grind for 12 hours and 15 hours. I don't have the time to do that. That's why I've been staying away from the first Descendant. But I'm going to check in the first Descendant to see the design costs, what's going on, if the material is easy to get. If it's easy to get and they change the standards of actually getting these items, I might grind it out for a few hours to get these items to actually build these costumes. So it is bringing interest back from people that kind of stepped away from the game. And I think this is a big win for Korea, where it sustains an actual functional third-person shooter game, multiplayer game at a high standard, where it has a high cost entry fee, and I'm surprised people are paying that high cost. And that is an amazing thing to see for a game developer that is out there to please the customer base. I don't like to see when games actually have an animosity towards the game players and they still have this success. So it's nice to see a game that is for the game players having this success, even though it's a bit expensive for my taste. But I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna check out this Ultimate Frena. It looks amazing to me. I like the overall designs, and of course I think she just has the body shape that I prefer. So this is the interesting thing about this game. I'm excited to go back in and dive into it, but you tell me your thoughts on this. Are you interested in the first Descendant after seeing this Ultimate Frena October trailer? I think this is really the best trailer I've seen for a character introduction, so I'm excited to actually check it out. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. This is not your type. Maybe you're looking for another Ultimate character to come out. You tell me your thoughts. Like, comment, share, subscribe. This is Wagner Knows Why. Catch you next time.